So there is a Louis Pankova. Hello Philip. What was the first idea to make film Czech Dream? Thank you. So this is a question which we with Vít Klusák answered for so many times. So for me, it's nice to make it again. So we had two sources of inspiration. One was art project of two artists from Czech Republic, and they made a project called Gigariga, what was fictional supermarket, and they exchange few posters in Prague trams and public transports, inviting people for grand opening of superstore with fictional products. Like they made photos of products without any sense, and with this they gathered a few families at Prague suburb, and they were photo documenting this happening. And at a place where there was supposed to be a shop, there was just a table stating, "Isn't it better to have a short walk in woods?" And they photographed them, and that was it. And Vít, who was a friend of one of them, told me about the project, and I straightly told him, "This is an idea for film." So this was one of the inspirations we had, and other one was that we were influenced by compulsive shopping in Czech Republic at the time, and the world of advertising were just appearing to our lives, and we had to swap from communist propaganda into the commercial promotion and PR. And when we saw that this environment drastically changing our lives, we wanted to react on that and address it. And our way how to address it was to make a film, Czech Dream. So then there is a David Sinádr. Dobrý den, myslíte si, hello, do you think that it is possible to make such a film today? Do you see that Czechs are the same level naive as it was in 2004? And one more question: do we live Czech Dream today or nightmare? Thank you. So David, I think that everybody can make Czech Dream again, but probably we would have to adapt for today's environment, because back in 2003 it was interesting to see that actually social media were just at its beginning, and it was not heavily influencing societies as it is today. So I think we live now in different digital environment, and that's why I think it would be much harder to keep the secret as in a time before Facebook. But even I thought and I assumed that some private television could rent out a helicopter, and that they would make some image from bird perspective, and see and show that there is no any supermarket. But this is not happened at that time. And I think that we are living our lives, not nightmare, not Czech Dream. Czech Dream, we live Czech Dream in a sense that we have politicians who are selling our lies through advertising and commercial campaigns, and they have also facades. It's their suits or blues, and they nice haircuts and nice words, and there are huge divisions of advisors, and these advisors are working on manipulating our brains to think that our life should be as it is. And I don't want to we focus only on politicians, because it would not be fair, because I believe that we have so many of trustful politicians, and they are really working hard to be like professional servicemen, some of them, of course, for the society. But I should also stress a lot of business interests and all the world of fake news, which is now more like new phenomenon. And in Czech Republic, we are facing thousands of fake news coming from east, from Russia. And as we can see, this Eastern superpower is trying to do a lot to destroy European values, and it is also something what would be called Czech Dream, like a hoax, not consumer hoax, but fake news hoax. And we have other sources of fake news coming from other sides, everywhere where there is a war. The first victim is a true, so we should see Czech Dream today not only as a film about consumerism, but also about the world of public opinion and influencers and fake news and Czech dreams or American dreams or UK dreams or Russian dreams, and we should be very much aware of that. So why did you choose study documentary film at FAMU? Because I grew up in photography. I was working on photographies with my father. I was his model, and also I was his assistant in photo laboratory. And naturally I was very close to the world of film through the photography. And then my friend Blanca, who's today editor, invited me for open door day at FAMU, and I met their professors, and I immediately liked the way how they were treating me as somebody who they can show up, they admire, because of my passion for photography, for communication through images. And I found it very interesting for my life, and that's why I become student of FAMU school. Zorko, my friend, Filip, my friend. How is isolation working for you and new inspirations? Zorko is my friend from Croatia, from Zagreb, and we are very good friends, although we don't have much time to spend together. So for me, Zorko, isolation is as it was before. I kind of just continue being isolated. What I cannot say I enjoy, because I would like to be more interactive with my friends, and I would like to travel more often to Croatia and other countries and meet people, as I'm interested in communication and in foreign languages, especially Croatian or Serbian, as you know. And so I'm away with my kids and wife. I'm away from Prague. We are at country house, and we are trying as much as it is possible to enjoy of being together and enjoy the nature. We have our little garden, so we like to work. Just a few days ago there was a snowstorm here, and today it's almost 20 centigrades. So now we were all day long outside at the garden, and we are like working as a gardeners, what I very much like. And I was also working on my script for my new film, so I was able to write down a proposal, and we send it to Czech Cinema Fund. So I hope we can find some support and to be able to work on this new film. And how are you, Zorko? What are you doing? You maybe continue your diversive trash television shows, extra hilarious program, which I like. Please let me know about your activities. I'm very much interested. Zorana is asking, did you have any unpleasant situations during and after shooting of Czech Dream? Not very much unpleasant situation, I may say. As far as I remember, it was all part of the story and we kind of expected that it won't be easy. But say, I remember the feeling of responsibility for people. We went through the whole project with the specialists and or experts from military of Czech Republic, from psychological department, and they were like advising us. And I was scared that somebody may be injured, for example. So we wanted to make sure that everything is fixed and that everything is made or done in cooperation with police or medics or assistants or security guards. We had like 50 people helping us with security at the time, so thanks God nothing really terrible has happened. Then we were going through some problems with advertising agency, because probably the team from the agency, from ad agency, they thought that they are working on yet another self-promo video for their company or their professional careers, and they were like facing that our attempt was slightly different, not to make advertising for anybody, but to be critical thinkers and to make documentary film, which is not only promoting somebody, but documentary film usually deals with some problems. So they thought, they understood that we are dealing with problems, and they started to kind of dislike the project. So we had to talk to them and explain that actually this is not video, this is not propagandistic video or advertising video, but this is art form. So that was it. And then we were facing reactions of politicians, and I remember that MP for Communist Party, they wanted to make some legal actions against us, but we had very good lawyers, and everything was very stable thanks to them. So nobody really sued us at the end. But we did it because one of the political country used the design, graphic design of Czech Dream for their promotion in election campaign. So we sued them and we won the case. It was nice to see that a small team like ours is able to cope with a big political party. And what is interesting, that this party is always defending public property as an untouchable item in society, and they were ones who harmed the law and who used the graphic design of somebody else. So for me it was paradoxical and absurd, and I was glad to win the case with them. There is Irina Detaskovsky. Dear Filip, could also tell us how it was difficult or easy to get people to be part of the film, like photographer, for example. So for some of the people it was not very attractive to become part of the project, as for example for very famous photographer Mr. Jadran Chetlik, and then we visited him and tell him there is some problem with video, sorry. For photographer it was a problem to be part of the film, because he told us, I'm very busy, I don't have time for that, because we didn't tell him the whole truth. We just told him that we as students are preparing film about marketing, and he thought it will be kind of laboratory or filmmaking kind of experience without this big grand opening and let's say buzz around it. And when we told him the very truth, that we are seriously opening supermarket and that it will be advertised through television, radio and through billboards, and that then there will be huge media reaction on that, and that actually the value for him is very high because everybody will see his photographies and his work. And then he agreed on that. He told us, I will cancel meeting in Moscow and I will swap it for some other day, and I am going to be with you working on Czech Dream. So this is just one example, but we had more examples like this, because a lot of people and companies saw that there is some kind of advertising or promotional potential in it. So actually, as our film was about it, we also were fulfilling it from inside. The basic principle of the film was based on this kind of barter business exchange. And could I ask you, how long have you been preparing shooting? For several years, like from initial idea, when we kick it out from the ground, we spent like 3 years of persuading Czech television and working on grant application for Czech Cinema Fund, and finally we were granted money from Czech Cinema Fund, and then Czech television were hesitating. So meanwhile I was traveling abroad with my friend and classmate Andrea Prengiova, and we founded Institute of Documentary Film, being pushed by a lack of financing for our films. And actually we were like looking for some partners abroad, and that's actually how we transform this crisis into something what is beneficial now, not only for us but for the filmmakers from all Eastern Europe. So meanwhile we founded Institute of Documentary Film, and we were looking for support abroad, and nobody trusted the project. I remember from abroad that the foreign reactions were like, this we can't support because it's too risky, we don't trust that you can make it. So we will have to return back to Czech television, where some people changed their positions and new people came, and one of them was Jan Gogola, who's the story editor of Czech Dream. He used to be working in Czech television on a position of commissioning editor, and he strongly supported us and recommended film to program committee. So that's how miracle has happened, that actually Czech TV as a public broadcaster backed or supported such a controversial project. So this was part of preparation, and then we had money, had support from Czech TV, had support from our alma mater Film Academy in Prague, and we had about several months, say half year, to prepare shooting. So we were looking for the crew. Of course we don't have enough money, so we were like gathering the technology of that time, that was DV cam and mini DV cameras. We found somebody with Steadicam because we wanted to have some flow images in the film imitating the aesthetic of advertising films or programs. So this was the preparation, technical one, and then we just started to work on the film. Another question is, tell us about Michael Moore and Michael connection to the film. So like after we released the film, somebody from Michael Moore team contacted us that actually he would like to screen the film within his festival, which he just launched in Traverse City. So he has presented the film after all the premieres also at his festival, and he liked it as much. I remember that he have chosen Czech Dream in between 10 other films of decade, and he mentioned it within this film. So this is the relation of Michael Moore to this film. And then I met him in person in 2010 when we were premiering Czech Peace, another film of Vít Klusák and me. at Traverse City Film Festival, and he told us that he was watching Czech Dream, and he was watching to his American past, because he says like naivety of Czechs was not funny to me because I recognize their naivety of Americans just 50 years back. So he saw in the film his friends and parents just a couple decades before. And he also told me that when he was premiering film Roger and Me in Europe, in Berlin, that he experienced that the time of transformation right after the fall of Berlin Wall, and his expectations were that he would like to see that actually there will be kind of split of system coming from Eastern Europe, like system of social justice, as he called it, with system of healthy capitalism, and that coming out of this mixed up, there will be developed some kind of new strategy, how to live as a society, how to be structured, and as he thought, nothing like this has happened, and we fully digest the American way of doing business and structure society, and he saw it as a mistake. So that was interesting conversation. And besides of that, I remember also that I was taken from the airport to the festival venue by a very nice lady in huge American CUV car, and she told me that actually she, as a retired person, she's voluntarily volunteering for the festival because she likes the festival, that actually there is something happening in her hometown, Traverse City, and she told me that she can see big development for the local community because Michael Moore reconstructed local theater in a center in a downtown Traverse City, and it was a lot for her because she remembered that she were watching their films of 60s in the cinema, and then cinema was almost locked down or closed, and then Michael restored it, and that she also can see the program for kids, that he is taking films from all over the world and screening it for kids for free, or that he is preparing special program for her generation of viewers, films from the 60s, beloved films, and there is a reduced tickets for everybody. So she understood that actually he is part of community and he is helping to build up the community, and that's why she would like to pay back to his festival, and that's why she's using her car to take some Filip Remunda and Vít Klusa coming from Europe to visit Traverse City, and she's doing it for free. So it was kind of very beautiful impression for me, because in my country a lot of people is not understanding the way how the local support of local community is understood in United States. Like, I know that a lot of us, we would be very much critical towards what is going on in US, but this is something what I take from US, that this kind of feeling of community is very strong there. And this lady, she also told me that politically she absolutely disagreed with Michael Moore, because she thought that he is communist by his political opinions, but she would able to forgive him because of his work for the community. So this is also America to me, that they would consider somebody like Michael Moore communist, probably not knowing what communism really is and how it was in Eastern Europe. But she would be critical, but also she would be admiring what Michael Moore does for her community. Nice experience, nice meeting with her, nice meeting with Michael Moore, and it was very nice to be at the festival. So, and also, what was the funniest experience you had during filming and then later when you promoted the film around the world? So one of the really funny moments was that a lot of like suppliers, they were trying to find out who is behind Czech Dream, and some of the food producers or product producers, some companies and corporations, they really hired people in their companies to investigate who's behind the project, because they thought there is a maybe new chain of supermarkets going on the market, promoting it with this secretly uh, led campaign. They call it testimonial, that you just uncover a part of the truth and then you let people be teased by the campaign, and then you uncovered what is behind the campaign. So this testimonial approach provoked a lot of corporations, and we were receiving emails from the producers of goat cheese. We are family of 5 producing goat cheese for last 4 years. We escaped the city, living at the farm, and we thought that we are right example of products you should have in your Czech Dream supermarket, because it will be, as we understand, based on national produced products, and we are the greatest example of local product. Our cheese has very high quality, it's very tasty, it's very healthy, so please consider our products in your portfolio. So it was very nice to see these local manufacturers, but also that was nice to see that corporations like Coca-Cola, they were like calling the printing company, because at that time there was only one company able to print out huge billboards in Prague back in 2003. So everybody from business knew that there is a one person responsible for all the marketing, and his phone was ringing constantly, as he told us, as he reported later on. And they were trying to investigate who's behind the project. And once we built up the basic setup, the parking lot and the construction and the front wall of supermarket, we had around 50 security guards, and they were like guarding it, that nobody can enter closer than 300 meters to the venue. And one of the guards was asked by the guy getting out of the truck, red truck with the sign of Coca-Cola, and the guy was like telling him, listen, like even my boss told me, like, stop by and ask somebody, try to investigate, because the person who's responsible in our company to investigate who is the player behind the project was not successful, so they asked me to do it in this diverse way. So we, as a human, we can, on a level of people-to-people communication, we can talk about it, and maybe you can tell me the truth, because I would like to help my boss. So even Coca-Cola was trying to investigate in such a non-conform way. So it was probably one of the funniest stories about Czech Dream. Funniest, but maybe not most relevant. Did you expect that you will gain such a great success with this film? Not at all. Till the very end, we thought that maybe nobody will come, or that the secret will be told, will be uncovered, and that we won't be able to make it. We had no expectations. We had just passion for filmmaking and passion for this kind of say conceptual work. That's what I remember, and we were scared, but we were also enjoying it. No expectations at all. So today I can say that 15 years after that, I'm surprised that we are doing such a chat about this film. I would not expect that. And from time to time, we are receiving invitations for debates, or there was planned exhibition in Brussels and in Amsterdam. So, and there used to be exhibition in Czech Republic where we were displaying the front wall of our supermarket and some posters. We still have a lot of original posters of Czech Dream. We have some T-shirts, we have products, we have a lot of items, photographs, stills. So we had several already invitations for exhibitions, and it's just glad to see that it is still alive. The front wall, the plastic front wall, is stored in my father's garage, and we are still thinking what to do with that, because it just stored there and nobody is touching it. So probably we would like to place it to some gallery or to some place where it will be displayed. So this is our future plan, what to do with that. Like there is a question that there is evidence that people from 27 countries were watching the film. What would you say is that we all have in common that this film is actually talking about? I think that today it is more about political marketing. I remember that when we were presenting the film in the UK, some citizen of London asked me, "Do you see that weapons of mass destructions never found in Iraq are something similar to Czech Dream?" And that was a very relevant question, but at that time the film to me was more about a situation in Czech Republic, like local politicians, like local political problems, local problems with with hypermarketomania or compulsive shopping. So it was more about the psychology. And in London, I understood that people in different countries can see the same subject from more wider perspective, and for them was Czech Dream represented by the lie about the attack to Iraq. So that was interesting, and I think that up until today, this actually scale or this point of view is actually relevant until today. As I thought before, as I told you before about fake news and PR and etc. Digital world, influencers, etc. I think this is still relevant, and we are all facing in this perspective Czech Dream. Dear friends, Martin Matyášek just joined us. You worked with Martin many times. Could you tell us about your collaboration? So Martin is a very good friend of mine, and I remember that I met him in FAMU, and I remember that when we were going to some lesson of physical exercises in changing room, he told me, like, are you aware that we are so far students of Film Academy already for 1 week? Do you feel what the feeling is it? That was very nice, and I would never forget it, because Martin fixed this moment to be aware that actually for 1 week we already been students of Film Academy, and that we are able to study what is our passion, and we are able to study what would be our future, and that we gladly can learn at this school and collaborate together. And I was collaborating with him from very first film of mine done at Film Academy. In a second year, I made a portrait of two American musicians. That was black and white, 16mm film, shot in very hardcore circumstances. That was -20, lot of snow, house without almost any heating system. So we went through this experience, and it helped us to become to be working together on films, on other films, and then I worked with him on other film called Steam on the River, and on other films. So hello Martin, nice to see you. So there is another question. There's obviously a lot of negative impact to be expected from this situation, but is there any positive effect you think this could have on the film industry? Okay, so this is a question relating to the situation of the today's crisis. I think that it will probably has very strong impact, and I don't really know how to cope with that, because when you have locked down cinema theaters, and when probably not any public screening or festival won't be organized for upcoming months, so there is no space for us where we can distribute our films. So it's very complex and difficult questions. Probably it will lead to the increasing influence of cable networks like Netflix, and let's see what is the future. What's the future going to be? Maybe we will be less traveling. Maybe we will be more concentrating on important things like going inside of us, and maybe our films will be less expensive but maybe deeper. I don't know. Let's see what the future will give us. I think there is, besides all the scare, I am also scared of the situation, because I'm facing something I couldn't imagine. And if I don't know how to imagine next few days, then of course, I have respect to the situation. So with all the respect to the situation, I think it is also a chance to recall a lot of things, including environmental questions, and maybe we can live much more smarter life. They talk now about smart quarantine, and they will be tracking our phone calls or our positions through the digital networks and our credit cards, but maybe we can be more concentrated on this new situation and use it as a kind of to speed up our thinking about the lives we would like to live, honestly. So there is another question. Hello Philip, thank you for the Q&A. Do you think that the film might have changed the consuming habits of public, even if slightly? I don't think that a film could really change the consuming habits. Maybe mine, or maybe with Krusak, or maybe our closest collaborators. But I hope that a film raises questions about public awareness of the PR and advertising world, and that we were or become more aware of actually that what is in television, it's not the same what we can see in the nature, that it is something superficial, done by man, and we have to be aware of that of every single frame. So this maybe could influence somebody. It's great to see so many friends here. Yes, I am more concentrated on answering the question, so I don't really know who from my friends is here and not. But my dear friends, I'm very happy to virtually meeting you. That's great if this is happening, and I would like to say hello to you, and I hope to meet you soon, and I hope that we all can somehow get through this specific situation. I'm curious about your recipes, what to do, and what is supposed to be done, and I'm looking forward to work with you again together. Also, Chris, from your first film in Tabor is also here, so it's so great to have those people from the past all be happy together. This exactly what this Taskovsky Home Cinema Dogs Connect is about. Wow. Hi, Chris. Chris Rankin, besides of the fact that he is great musician, he is now living his quarantine in his huge house, working on his food project. So he has become a manufacturer of cheese. So there is a product line called Made by Chris, including soap, cheese, bread, marmalades, jams, and newly uh, he's making miso, homemade fresh miso. And if you are interested, so do support his business and buy some products from him. They are very delicious and also healthy. He's a right professional. A monk with Hilary. Hilary, his partner and music partner of the band Sabot. She moved a couple years ago to Italy, and she's also producing great handmade, homemade products. So if you are interested in such things, so be in contact with them. So this was a commercial break talking about Czech Dream. So in every program in television or in computer, there should be commercial break. So there is a made by Chris and made by Hilary. Hello, Hilary and Chris, my friends. And then welcome Atanas, producer of Honeyland, Oscar nomination. Hey Atanas, hello, how are you? How was it in America? Congratulations for huge success. That is just great to see that somebody from our circuit is so successful. So I wish you all the best. Great film. Congratulations. How are you? How is it in Macedonia? Are you away at country house? Welcome to Jožko Rutar, our dear friends, producer Slovenian with great sense of humor. No wonder you join us for Czech Dream. So welcome, Jožko. I don't know if this is really funny. We are waiting for funny questions also, so do support us. And let's see. Let's see. We have no more questions. Talking about Hilary and Chris, it was just pleasure to hear that band Sabot is possibly forming again together, and that there is a chance in maybe in some kind of year perspective we can see new project called maybe Sabot 2 or New Sabot, and then Hilary and Chris, they gathered together for common rehearsals in Italy, and I was there with camera and my crew, and we are continue working on the film, and I would like to finish it soon. We just looking for money to be able to pay editor and post-production, and we have a lot of material shoot it over the period of more than 15 years now, and I would like to make film about my friends, musicians, Hilary and Chris, because they influenced my life very much, and I would never be the same person without meeting them and without made my first film about them for school, and without working on the new film, shooting with them during their tours to Japan, two of them. So with the help of them, I experienced totally different Japan than everybody than most of us can imagine, because that was different Japan than you can see in any bulletins or prospects of travel agencies. So I never experienced any jacuzzi or miso soup or sushi, more specifically I wanted to say. And I experienced only the underground of Japan. Great, smelly basements of various, maybe 20 or 30 Japanese cities, and I experienced there not only music of Sabo, Hilary and Chris, but also music of Japanese underground noise bands and very strange projects, including samurais and including experimental, very experimental music or physical poetry, Zen Buddhist poetry. I was almost cut it into parts by sword, by samurai sword in the hands of a musician, great Japanese musician called Jinmo. Hello Jinmo. I was almost meet you on my last travel to Japan. I'm very inspired by your music. And Hilary and Chris, you really gave to my life a lot of inspiration. And now I would like to finish the film. So let's see. We know you traveled around the world. This is how you learned about kimchi. Well, when I was in Korea, I learned for the first time about kimchi. That's probably why I would like now to learn how to make kimchi. And Korean people told me that they survive all the wars and problems in their history with the help of kimchi. So it's very simple. Somebody inspired me, and I would like now to learn how to make it. Then there is Atanas. Czech Dream was a very successful film, no matter what kind of impact it had on society, what kind of changes did on you as a person. And yes, I escaped in the mountain in quarantine, somehow fitted after Hollywood. Great hello from Macedonia. Yes, Atanas, this is the best what you can do. I remember that after we were presenting Czech Dream in New York and they accommodated us in most expensive hotel in downtown Manhattan, then I flew almost from New York through Prague, that's correct, to Tokyo, and then I started to live my underground way of life after this Manhattan experience for long 30 days, and we were sleeping on the floors, and that was very cold outside. That was February in Japan. There was a snow. That was very, very cold even inside of the houses, because Japanese mostly they don't have any heating systems. And I remember that I was really enjoying it. After this luxury life in America, I was enjoying this underground life in Japan. It's very good to mix it up. And this Japanese experience is even stronger than this luxury American. It's really influenced my life. And lucky you that you are in the mountains now. So enjoy it. And back to the question. Like one of the lessons I get from Czech Dream was that I observe people who were like looking at the construction behind the facade of Czech Dream, and they were looking for products, and they distrust their eyes, and they trusted more to the imaginary world we were able to build up in their brain. So imagine that you've been brainwashed for 1 month, and then you are let freely walk at the streets, and you are asked, what do you trust more? What do you see, on what your imagination is telling you? And imagination was stronger and people were looking for products. They were looking for underground entrance to this supermarket. They were looking to the near woods if it is not possibly there, and they didn't trust their own eyes, but a couple of the posters or slogans produced by ad agency and us filmmakers. And this lesson I will never forget, and I will always have it in front of my eyes, and I will always think about reality and about the world I live in with this experience. So I hope that slightly it can help me to get orientated in the world. But I like to say the story which is related to that. When I was going back from our family house, which is like maybe 20 kilometers away from Prague, oftenly by car, I was passing by the poster placed there for Polish tourists returning back from their summer holidays in Italy back to Poland. And it was advertising for Polish beer. So imagine that it was very, very strange to see billboard in Polish language in Czech Republic or in Macedonia, imagine that. And they were promoting a beer brand called Żywiec. And what do you think I did when I first, after maybe several years, traveled to Poland? I ordered Żywiec beer in a first pub. And then I tasted, and I remember for the billboard there was written Pozdrawiamy Polaków Żywiec. And this is the way I understood why I am so easy victim. Another example is that when I was first in New York, the city impressed me very much, and since then I love to return back. Hello my friends, I know that today it is very hard time for you, so I wish you all the best. I saw you clapping from and dancing on the roofs and clapping to the ambulances, so it's nice to see the strong power of New York, and that's why we all love you. And my experience with my first visit of New York is that first time I saw their advertisement for iPhone, and then I saw there this first phone in operation, like people were clapping on it and making the photographies bigger. And this I remember this movement from the pub. I saw it, and I disliked the idea of having such a big telephone at that time. But few years later, I purchased my first smartphone, and guess it was iPhone, and since that I'm stick with this brand. So this is another example that even having this Czech Dream experience in mind, I'm very easy victim, and I must admit that probably I'm easy victim in another perspectives. So it's very important for me to be aware of that at least, and then trying to do something. Thank you, Filip, for such a great conversation. Good luck with new projects. Thank you, Tatiana, that you visited this impro session, and I also wish you good luck with your projects. Tatiana Soboleva is a Russian filmmaker, and she presented me great film about travel of somebody who grew up and was born in Kyrgyzstan and then spent life in Moscow, and she's with him, following him with camera, going home and going back home to Moscow. And this is filmmaking experience I won't forget, and it is very actually simple but powerful film. it is still not finished, and I'm looking forward when you will finish it, Tatiana, and show it the wider public, because I think it's a very powerful film. Svetoslav, hello from Sofia. Hello from Czechia, how are you? What are you working on today? I'm interested. Svetoslav is fine, that's important to see. My friend is director of Czech Culture Center in Sofia, so you can contact her and maybe you can make some common project together, I hope. Maybe you can screen there together some films online, as it is about to be here on Taskovsky Films pages. Christina Vidic, hi from Liverpool. Hi Christina, thank you. How is it in Liverpool today? Yeah, great. Yes, so let's say that if there are more questions, I will be more than happy to react on that. Let's see what's gonna happen. Or if there are no more questions, we can say that it's been an hour we spent together and that we can go away and drink a tea. In my example, this is Japanese green tea. This is also my Japanese experience, because in Japan I was subject of jokes because I was there looking for green tea, and all the underground people in underground clubs, they were like thinking that I'm crazy because nobody from underground culture would drink green tea. Of course, yes, but I like it. I like to be subject of jokes. Tell us what you think as we filmmaker can do together in this situation. I don't know, but I remember that my teacher, great filmmaker from Czech Republic, Karel Vachek, says to all of his students, you should take your camera and film. This is the time when you as a documentary filmmakers should take action and should film and document what is going on. So let's say this was not my call, but call of Karel Vachek, and I'm just here to transform his words to the digital world, and his recommendation is to take camera and film what's going on. What is going on in Macedonian mountains? What is going on in Liverpool? What is going on in India? What is going on in Bosnia? And it could be important to save it for future or for today, because we can inspire each other, sharing the perspective we live in, and maybe through this inspiration we can find a way how to cope with the situation, how to cope with us, what to do, and how change could we behave, how differently can we behave. very much curious about outcome. Christina, really good to see you. I live here for past 15 years. Hope we can catch up soon. I'm outside and bad reception. Hope to speak to you soon. Thank you, Filip. It has been great. You are one of the first Taskovsky Films directors, and today also first one to open hour. Okay, so it looks like it's nearly to be finished. I am getting directions from Taskovsky Films. So thank you very much for this meeting. I cannot see you, but I'm imagining you all. Thank you for all of your questions. I wish you strong health, and let's be together and let's become stronger with the help of each other, or with inspiration coming from each other of us. I see this documentary people community as a strong source of inspiration for me. So I would like to thank you for all of your films and for all of your ideas I ever shared with you. I wish you good luck in these times, and let's be connected. Bye.